Hey, hello everybody, this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you another Zerg Bronze to Masters League Series game. Today we're going to be looking at a ZvP here on Waystation, and my lord, I feel like it's been a little longer than need to. Finally got on the ladder, getting back into things. This week has been crazy. I've been traveling quite a bit, and for the past 2 days I've been in Cleveland, Ohio, visiting a supplier for work. But it's okay now. We're back. And yeah, we're going to be looking at a ZvP, as I mentioned before. So first off, I want to ask you guys a question. So on Tuesday, I submitted the CM Revival ZvT kind of breakdown. I didn't really get a whole lot of response, lots of thumbs up. People who enjoyed the video, so I greatly appreciate that, but didn't get a whole lot of response, so I'd be very, very curious for those who've been following me to go ahead and leave your comments down below. I'd be more than happy to take more comments if you have any more specific people that you would like me to take a look at, do a little bit of breakdown if in a particular matchup. I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys, and I think I'm going to do those a little bit more often. I've still been kind of rehashing through all the replays from the NG Invitational, and there are lots of really good games, especially from day one. I'm definitely going to be breaking down a Roach Nidus timing push here relatively soon. Very, very interesting build. I think it was Symbol who did that build, but yeah, it was very, very excellent. So just be curious to hear what you guys have to say about that, and so feel free to leave those in the comments. So we have a PvZ, and with a PvZ we're going to go ahead and do something a little bit different just because of the way the early game started out. So we were going to go for a hatch first, and we saw our opponent went straight for the pylon block, which means he's going for a very, very, very early Nexus first. And you know what we do with Nexus? Well, not really Nexus first, just Nexus right after the gateway, just delaying his cybernetics core and his tech up. In his mind, he's like, well, I've done good enough job. I've delayed his expansion. I'm feeling pretty good, just doing my own thing. And basically at this point, I'm just kind of droning and getting up a handful of links to deal with the probe. And then once I deal with the probe, I'll go ahead and take out the pylon to get my expansion up. But rather than waiting so long for these links to come out, I do go ahead and take my second base over my third base location. Highly recommend it if you get over here and you kind of see what your opponent's doing. So my Overlord's going to come in here and kind of see, okay, Cybernetics Core is finishing up. We come over here, we see the Nexus is finishing up, so we're like, okay. So he has potential for early game aggression. It's going to be a little delayed just because he went for the Nexus before the Cybernetics Core. So yeah, there we go. Get that scout off. So we got to be a little weary of early game aggression, like I mentioned, and because of that, we're actually going to go ahead and throw down our Roach Warren fairly early. Normally, I like to get myself to fully maxed out on 2 bases before I throw down that Roach Warren, just so I can instantly get production once it's finished, start to get my lair in as well as upgrades. But since we've seen that there's potential for early aggression, we want to make sure that we are going to have enough to deal with it. So, sending down the Queen to start getting some creep going, and basically at this point we're just going to be droning up and feeling pretty good about things. The Overlord is going to come over. We really don't see a whole lot, so we're going to go ahead and park him over in this area. Now this location, I'm still debating on whether or not that is high ground or not. I know he does try to pick it off with a couple of his units, but at this point we're just going to take map control, get a whole bunch of map vision with the handful of links that we made to fight off any pesky probes from putting down proxy pylons. Lots of P's in that sentence. But feeling pretty good at this point, not looking to do anything too crazy. We will go ahead and take our third base just as a function of the way things worked out. And quite honestly, you're pretty safe going ahead and taking an early third on this map just because you don't have to, while there is potential for early aggression, one, it's going to give you extra production to deal with that, and two, you've got such long cross positions that the amount of time that it's going to take for him to send all of his units across and them not be scouted by these links, feeling pretty good about going ahead and taking that third. So our opponent here is going for some 4-gate pressure as he's got his 4 gates up and he's starting to get charge, which decent upgrade. Now, actually, I take that back. Going for 6-gate aggression. That's why I was so kind of paranoid by the the hit that happened. Wow, 7. Oh my, 1 gate. So yeah, so he's pretty much on 1 base production, 7 gates. He's not going to be able to maintain like high density production with that. Granted, we don't really have any overlords in position to scout this. My second overlord probably, or actually no, it would have been my third overlord, probably should have gone to the backside, just so I could have thrown it in to get a scout, but we didn't end up doing that. So at this point, just going to be getting our drones up, getting our lair up, and now that we're kind of, on 3 bases, feeling pretty good, we're going to start to get extra gases, because roach production is going to be kind of crucial at this point, because we're like, okay, need to start building units, because the likelihood of him coming and doing some stuff relatively soon is going to be pretty high. We do see kind of what he's doing back here. He doesn't really have a wall, which we're a little bit curious about, just because most Protoss players will try to do some type of walling activity, maybe even just wall up this area to minimize surface area and whatnot. But he's actually going to go ahead and move out, and we're happily building lots of lings, lots of hydralisks. 1-1 is almost finished for us, so we're feeling pretty good. And we come in here and we see lots and lots and lots of zealots. Gonna push that back this first wave, but we do need to be a little bit careful on the second wave, just because with that much production, I mean, God, he's got 7-8 gates at this point, and just now starting to get archons in with it. So he's in actually a really good position. While we do have decent amount of supply lead, 10 supply is not terribly much, but we droned behind this, which means we're not going to have a whole lot of production for a little while, which could potentially be a little bit of an issue for us. And you can see that the main supply lead is in the worker count, not necessarily the army count. So definitely going to be spending a lot of our... wow, I was just like ham on overlords because I didn't want to have to deal with any more supply blocks. But yeah, getting our +2 up, we're pretty comfortable to go ahead and take our 4th base. It's not necessarily the best thing in the world, just because with him pushing out, we don't scout that until these lings, I think, intercept it. But we're feeling pretty good. So we actually start to head out at this point, and, pretty much behind this, we've just been making sure we hit our larva injects, do all of our mechanics and stuff. We finally see his army with a handful of lings, and we're like, ooh, he's got archons now, need to worry about that. So I'm going to get out 11 more roaches, as well as continue on getting our upgrades in. I actually go ahead and get speed, because I need the mobility to keep tabs on his 3rd base. But we're a little leery at this point. We're hoping that these units will pop before he actually decides to move in and be aggressive. He's very behind on his upgrades as he's throwing down 3 forges. Holy cow. I didn't even notice that in the last time I watched this replay. But yeah, going to be building a whole bunch of spine crawlers because we know he's coming. And yeah, at this point we're just like, okay, waiting for him to do something, because we don't want to go and actively engage this. You can get behind the little gas here, minimize any type of vision that we have, and we don't really know how to deal with this straight on, because the zealots are going to do a lot of damage to our roaches, and with the backup of the archons, it's just going to be very difficult to deal with it. So I'm actually happy to go ahead and let him push in with his zealots up front, and then come in from behind. Yeah, I know I'm going to sacrifice this base and lose a fair amount with it, but I can focus down the archons and take out the majority of his DPS with that. And so yeah, so we're going to clean up his back army. And then behind this, we've also got +2 just now finishing up. Yes, like I said, he is going to take this out and take out a fair amount of drones, but at pretty much the cost of his entire army. He didn't rebuild his mothership core, so he couldn't recall. Had he done that, he probably would have won this game. Just because you recall, you force the Zerg to rebuild the third base, which would be down here for me, or and then also get this fourth base up then. And yeah, I mean, at this point, he's on his back foot. He really doesn't have, I mean, he's got money, but he doesn't have a whole lot of gas, only because he's been on 2 bases the entire time. We did send a couple of lings in here to do a little bit of harassing and double check on everything. But yeah, we're going to send everything straight on across, and we're feeling pretty good. We are going to go ahead and get our infestation pit, just because we want to have something to fall back on in case he is able to hold us off and start to get our plus 3/3. But we're going to go ahead and build a whole bunch more roaches, come in here, do a fair amount of damage. I'm not sure if he just doesn't have enough APM to, like, manage everything, but he didn't do a very good job of reacting to certain things as well as just being focused in the game. But I think overall he played fairly well. His main downfall was he didn't have any reinforcing pylon with the original push. I think that would have done a lot more damage. And then on top of that, he didn't commit to it. Like he went in, saw that I had units, and then backed out and lost a handful of units in the process, as well as his mothership core. So overall, pretty decent game. Still in the gold league, kind of mid to upper gold league. Not sure when we're gonna get promoted yet. I'm hoping to have that done relatively soon. I'm going to be playing a lot more probably next week, because this week's homework is just ridiculous, and you know, master's classes, they're crazy. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of, you know, just kind of how I dealt with the early game. If you got any questions about that, feel free to leave those in the comment. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the cast of this game. Like I said, if you've got any questions, or if you want me to check out one of your replays, I'd be more than happy to do that. There's an email in the description that you can check out. Just send your replay with a little bit of a description on what you'd like me to talk about, and I'd be more than happy to do that. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to go ahead and hit that like button. And if you got friends who are learning Zerg and thought this was helpful, feel free to share with them on Facebook and Twitter. It'd be greatly appreciated. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next game.